Hey, Roy here with another video. I'm in my kitchen today and I'm going to show you some troubleshooting steps for a InSinkErator or garbage disposal, as a lot of people call it. Most common thing, I don't know if you can see down in there, I might need to get a flashlight. I have one light right here. Alright, so the most common thing is that metal plate down in there isn't spinning. Most of the time you can fix it by getting it spinning again. Sometimes it's so big you got to get the garbage disposal out, which isn't that hard, but I find a little extra persuasion sometimes isn't so bad. So see, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm actually spinning it so I can see that the motor's free, but that isn't the problem with mine. Anyways, so spinning it, it spins. That's not the problem. So next step. Another troubleshooting step you can do, this is usually plugged into a switched outlet. If you want to make sure that still has power, go get an extension cord, get some water running in there, and then plug this into an extension cord. It's going to automatically turn on rather than the switch, because it's on all the time by design. The switch is just cuts the power or not so that it turns on or off when you want with the switch. If you've already checked that it's spinning in there like I showed you, and you got water running going down the drain, and you put this on an extension cord and it's still not turning on, good chance yours is dead like mine is. Under the sink, so this up here is going to be your drain for your dishwasher. This is your sink drain, and these are easy to undo. Just get a screwdriver, take that off, pull that off, unscrew this, get it out of the way. And then this, you don't need to undo any of these bolts. You literally just twist the whole unit, and it's meant to quick disconnect, okay? Get yourself a screwdriver and undo this hose clamp up here. Now I find that these interchangeable, or what they call it, 3-in-1 screwdrivers are the right fit for these heads usually, which makes it nice. You don't have to deal with flat blade. Alright, just loosen that up a bit, and then you can easily pull your dishwasher off, right? Get that out of the way. And then this guy, he's a little tight, so I'm going to get me some pliers. Down is loose, or if you're facing the pipe, twisting it to the left, lefty-loosey, and up or to the right, if you're facing the pipe, is tight. So, I got this loose. As you can see, before I go any further, I'm going to get a towel though. Got our towel situated under there. Going to finish pulling this off. Get out of the way. Now, I'm going to actually loosen this one too. This little extension, just so I have room to play, right? And that should allow me to slide this in, or even take this out all the way. Yeah, that's probably good enough. So now this guy, I'm probably gonna have to use both hands, so we'll see. Hold on. You don't twist the whole thing, you just twist this guy up here, and it'll get to a point where see how that's a lip, where that'll come off. Now I need both hands to catch it, so I don't think I'll be able to quite show you. But once you twist this, and see, it slides, whoop, and it's at an angle, so it gets tighter and tighter, and this seals off up there. Once you twist this, and you don't twist your whole thing, you just twist this part, so it has these little dealers to grab. There's actually a tool you could slide in there, but I found it really easy with my fingers. It wasn't hard. You don't have to twist the whole unit, okay? You just twist this, and it comes off. Now your new garbage disposal or aerator should have a nice pretty new one of these with a new seal. Now I'd recommend putting it in, even though you have one that'll probably work just fine. It's relatively easy. There's just these 3 screws, right? And this comes undone. Now this one looks like somebody put the screws in backwards, but they really didn't, because there's a slot here that my favorite tool, a flat blade, fits in. Okay, so undo all of these and get that loose. Once you have all these screws out, kind of move this around until you find there's a wire up there that's got a split in it. See the split? And you can take your screwdriver. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this one-handed. Yes, I can. And you're going to get that wire to come down from around the ring. Okay? That's the locker retention wire, what have you. See, and then once that comes off, then this bottom plate comes down, and this plate comes down. Right? And then you can push this piece up. And then there's this guy. So the next step is to remove this old plumber's putty from out of here. It's probably a little crusty. A lot of it you can probably get with your fingers. And you don't want to scratch your porcelain sink or damage it, so be careful what you use. I'm just going to get as much as I can, then probably clean it with a rag. Because your new one should come, and there's a seal under here. See, I just pulled that seal off. I'm going to let it drop. And there's going to be a new seal on the bottom down there too. And this, like I said, this is just putty, so it should be relatively easy to get clean, get off of there. I'm gonna go get me a rag and clean it up a little better. I just have a dry rag here, and I just took and wiped all that putty out of there, and you can see that's nice and clean now. And I don't like this ring, so I'm going to use some cleaning agent and try to get that nice and bright white before we put the new one on. Now if you have a steel or a stone sink or some other material, you probably don't need to do this, but I used just a damp cloth and some soft scrub and just cleaned that ring off. Got it ready. Now under here, I'm just going to wipe the surface. Just want it clean as I can. There's still some putty on that side. Don't want this leaking later. You can see still some putty up on there. Alright, I'm going to turn the camera off so I can focus. With that nice and clean, we're ready for our new flange. Apparently all the new disposals have this kind of setup with the angle instead of straight. Like my old one had these threads to just screw on, and that's how my drain pipe is set up. But I do have this little extension on here, and this with a ferrule and a tightener. So looking around, and they do have this adapter, so the plan is put this on there, pull it over and hook it into that pipe. And then also while I was there, I got a new seal for in the sink that doesn't require putty because hey, I like easy, and it was $5. So let's try that. So just like how the old one came off, on the new one you want to loosen these 3 screws, get them relatively loose there. Get your screwdriver, find where the ring splits, switch it to a flat blade, get in there, alright, I'll pull you guys away to get it started, but you just want to work this off all the way. And this comes off, and this comes off, and this seal is your underneath seal, not your on top seal. It's kind of a cardboardish seal. You need a putty-free sink seal, which is more of a rubber seal for on there, or you need to go the putty route. Alright, I don't know how they expect you to do this, but what I did, and there's no instructions on this box, is I pushed this metal ring from this side, because there's no way to get it past all these things. And then they had two different seals in here. They had this one, go ahead, and they had this one, and that one doesn't make any sense getting squished up against here. So this has a little lip inside, so, and I don't really like the strength of this against that metal, so it makes sense that this goes on there, right? So remember, put your threads on first and then your ferro. And then what that looks like is this slides in there, and then these threads go on and tighten against that ferro. Now when the sink aerator is on here, then this is going to go straight and tie onto it. But I'm just putting this on there temporarily while my RO is recharging. So take your putty-free seal, and I would put it on this piece first. And it's going to be a little bit tight by design because it's going to seal off, and just kind of work it around all the way on the edges. Next, take this guy, set it in your sink. I would line the words so that you can read them, just because that makes sense. Once you have this kind of oriented how you want it before you assemble underneath, you're going to need something to make it stay put. So the instructions say to set your InSinkErator on it. Just give it some pressure, down pressure, and hold it so that it doesn't move around on you. Now once you have the bottom in there, get the bottom seal up on there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this one-handed, but it's the bottom seal, and then this piece, and then your retention ring, and then this piece, and line your screws up so that they're going into these parts of this thing. The orientation doesn't matter too much, just when you tighten your screws, do it evenly. And then that's putting that piece in the flange. So even with the garbage disposal sitting on that guy, I was still saying swear words trying to get that ring on. So I had an assistant come and push down. So maybe you might want somebody to just literally come over here and push down on this so that you can get that ring on. And once that ring's on, then you can start tightening up these screws. And make sure you're centered there. And just try to do it as evenly as you possibly can. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Alright, they're all kind of starting to get hand tight there. This is where I'm going to check the orientation one more time before I get the screwdriver involved. So, let's come up here. Alright. It looks like I can read it. It looks relatively straight. Maybe twist her just a little bit that way. Alright, that looks pretty good. Next, I'm going to get the screwdriver. And just, like, this doesn't have to be, you know, He-Man tight. Just good and snug. Consult your ancestors. And try to keep it even. Alright, I'm going to stop the video, but you get the idea. Alright, that's done and ready to receive. And then over here, remember I had this other piece. So I'm going to undo that, pull this pipe out, and I said there's our ferro. So pull this out and work the ferro off. And I think what the thought process was, is see how we have the P-trap there? I think they were thinking, and maybe it's code nowadays, I don't know, I'm not a plumber, is there's going to, you put up another P-trap directly under the garbage disposal, and then that way you don't have a straight shot, you have another loop-de-loo. But I'm making it go straight again. So. All right, I thought about it for about 2 more seconds, and I decided to put this little elbow guide that they sent with the garbage disposal on there to keep my RO backflow from hanging up while I put this on, because I do want to screw this guy mounted up on here. So now it came with 2 bolts. Make sure you pay attention to those. That's what holds this on. Okay. So we're going to get this lined up. And there's 1 bolt. Over here to the other side. Oh. Get that guy in there the way we want it. And there's the other bolt. Now I'm going to switch my screwdriver out again. Try to keep this pretty even as well. And I think we can go all the way. But kind of walk it, don't just do one. It feels nice and solid. Now, like I say, the idea is this goes up, and that's going to go there, and then I can put my dishwasher back on. But, and like I said, you just turn this piece. Oh, never mind. This one's different. Looks like I'm going to have to turn the whole guy. Oh boy. Well, that's a problem. That means I gotta get the orientation of that right too. Alright, so we might be loosening those bolts and twisty that flange a little, we'll see. So I screwed up and did it right. It's actually going to turn out about right. About the time that locks in place, this will be straight. And I discovered something else. With how short my clearance is here, I'm going to have to not bolt this on first like I wanted to. I'm going to have to put it in the pipe first, bolt it on afterward. So, good thing I got my handy dandy bowl down here to catch that RO runoff. Well, and then I decided, why am I messing with a bowl when I can just turn the RO feed line off for a minute? So that'll make life easier. So we just turn that guy off. Here it is, got it twisted in place. Got the bolts on there. And it's ready to get tightened up. And then put the dishwasher back on and test the drain. Now those bolts, they are a 10mm, so I went and got my 10mm ratchet wrench and put those on, because trying to get a screwdriver around this backside, I mean, got mechanical abilities, right? So I can put it in without being able to see it, but you know, tightening it up, yeah, I could do it. Do I want the frustration? No. So I got a wrench. All right, that's hooked up. Next, grab this drain hose for the dishwasher. Slide it on there. We can take the bit out of the screwdriver now. We can tighten this guy up. Okay, looks good, nice and solid. Last but not least, plug this guy in. Reach over there. Okay. And we testy. Water first. Water go in there. We don't want to see any water. Yeah. And hear it going down the drain, which is all good. This is exactly what we want here. No water. Okay. Next, let's flip the switch. That's a beautiful thing. Alright.